So let's talk about this concept of migration versus portability. And often we see this in discussions around cloud brokers. My pin's off a little bit. Sorry about that. So we see this related to cloud brokering, and we see lots of companies talking about, I want to be a cloud broker, or we have organizations requesting to become cloud brokers. All of these things are great, but we have to realize that there are lots of restrictions that will prevent us, or not prevent us, but kind of put a wrapper around what is really possible in cloud migration and portability, and really what's the difference between it. The first thing that we need to realize is that we have different hypervisors. So at the hypervisor level, so let's just draw out a server here. Now remember, this is a terrible picture of a server because I went too big here. I apologize. So let's just draw out a server here. Now this, remember, is a physical server, all right? Physical server. So we'll put here physical. And within the physical server are virtual servers. All right? So, virtual servers. Okay, and we'll put a smiley face in there just because, why not? Okay, so we have virtual servers and we have a physical server. And so these virtual servers reside here within the physical server. All right? So hopefully we're all in tune with one another on this. So let's go ahead and just kind of capture this, maybe reduce it down. And we know that these virtual servers themselves are in multiple cloud environments. So it's not uncommon, or shouldn't be uncommon, or shouldn't be any surprise to anybody that these virtual environments all use different hypervisors. Now there's some similarity, and some vendors would have you believe that only their hypervisor is used, but that's just simply not the case. We're going to talk really about 4 primary hypervisors that could be used within these cloud environments. And this is important for us to understand. One, we'll just talk about probably the largest of, as far as market share, VMware. And then, of course, you have Hyper-V, Hyper, whoops. You have KVM, and then you have Red Hat KVM. So we're going to put here, my pen is really messing with me here, KVM, and then we have standard KVM, which is something like your Ubuntu, that type of thing. So we have to realize that when we want to move a workload from this operating system here, and we want to say, let's open this guy back up again, and we want to move, let's just say, for example, we want to create a virtual machine sitting over here, right, that's coming out of this. So we want this virtual machine to support, currently, right now, his hypervisor equals, let's just say VMware. And he resides right now, this hypervisor resides in a cloud environment that is VMware, right? So far, so good. So we've got the hypervisor, we've got VMware, he's running on there, he's running on this cloud environment that supports VMware, everything's good to go. Now let's say that I want to transfer or move this workload. So I want to take this virtual machine now and I want to move it over to a KVM environment, a Red Hat KVM environment. Will KVM, right, remember we're dealing with a different hypervisor, will it run the VMware load? Well, it will run it, but it is a migration, not a portability. So I actually have to migrate from VMware to KVM. So this is a migration process. Is it possible? It absolutely is possible. But we have to do a migration. Now, do cloud brokers have the ability to house multiple hypervisors? The answer is yes. Some of the cloud brokers will allow you to do this as a migration and not, as a portable environment. So some of them will allow you to take a VMware virtual machine from VMware into Hyper-V, for example. And they all have their limitations in the type of hypervisors they're going to support. Just remember, the key takeaway from this video, remember that you have to understand that each one of these cloud environments use, so all of this right here, they all use typically a different hypervisor engine. And so if your workload that you currently have, your VM, currently runs on multiple hypervisors, or your cloud broker supports multiple hypervisors, then you're in good shape. If it does not, you are going to be placed in a situation where you have to migrate. It's not really portability, it's actually migration. And with that migration comes the number one thing that we all want to avoid, which is risk. So be very, very careful of how we move our workloads between cloud infrastructures based on the actual hypervisor that's running underneath and supporting that cloud infrastructure.